shoot, I don't know what that's doing. Hello. Hey everybody. Now let me see. I got to mute my sound on my computer. I can't tell. Let me see how the mic's doing. Seems to be doing okay according to my little info thing. I'm sorry, I'm wiggling and dropping things. Lots of things. Every time I turn around, I drop something else. Okay, that's why. Wait, I'm going to show you why. Okay, I see Linda. Hello from Maryland. Delvine, I think she's South America. Okay, here's all my stuff. It's hot from the oven. I had to paint it and get it dry, so it just came out of the oven. Yeah, no. Remember, this is one of those don't do as I say things. So anyway, hey Sonia, Vanessa, Marty. I think Marty is the one who grew up near this the Marburg house. I know a Marty did, but I think it was Marty. And Trina. Okay, so I did not upload the pattern yet. Partly I want to, I made prototype after prototype after prototype, and I think I've got it right, but we'll make it today, and if there are any changes, I'll make them, and I'll add the cupola, which I just didn't have time to do. Okay, this was my latest prototype. You can see the little clock part. I had to lower where the roof fits. I added lots of windows. Let me kind of, not as many as the real house has, but wait, you can see it better on this, I think. Lots of windows, and I think it's enough to give it the personality. Oh, my friend Howard is here. Howard is, he's kind of my crafting mentor. He really taught me how to make little houses, so I'm really happy to see him. Cardboard Christmas is where I started, and you can get a ton of stuff there. You can see so much. There aren't SVG patterns, but there are patterns that are incredible. So I see Tanya and Jeannie and Keisha. Okay, the main structure. And I think I painted everything. Let's make a fun part first. So I'm going to switch. As you know, I have to kind of clumsily switch to the top-down camera. Oh, wait. Let me show you why I got this one. I don't know if it'll show up better this way or not. This is the chicken. Isn't it cute? I was really happy. And it's actually got wings. And if you want to move them, you can make them flap a little bit. You can move them around. So anyway, I was really happy the chicken worked out. I wanted to paint it silver because I think that's what it is. I think it's kind of a like lead or something. It's a metallic thing on top of the Marburg Town Hall, and I call it Clock House, but it's a town hall. And Ben always says the word for town hall in German is Rathaus, something like that. He said I did pretty well. He's really good at German, like really good. Every once in a while, and he gets really happy when this happens, he gets mistaken for a, like a native German, and that really tickles him. I would be. I think that's a real achievement, learning a language that well that you could be mistaken for a native speaker. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to move this camera back a little bit and try not to knock everything over, because you know I will. Given a good opportunity, I will. Look, I even had to have an oven mitt to take my pieces out of the oven. Okay, now switching cameras, so don't, let me find the right place. Yeah, I did kind of say it that way. Let me see, it's spelled Rathaus, and that means town hall. Okay, going to my click to click the overhead camera, and actually I got to rotate it a little bit more. Try not to make y'all sick. Wet rag, because I know I'm going to be messy today. Yeah, I don't really know how to roll R's. Okay, let me make sure. All right, now I'm going back here. And I think it's still now. So let's do the fun, what I consider the fun part. I really like the clock part. And remember, I told you this is from Cardboard Christmas Forum. And it is, and it says Merry Christmas on it. And I did that. I used that because I just don't have any 12-hour clocks yet. I will make one. But this one is based on vintage putzes, the little houses from long ago. And Paul Race, who owns the Cardboard Christmas Forum. And like I said, you can learn so much if you go particularly to the forum. But this is under resources, Cardboard Christmas Resources. To get the clock. And he has some other printed things. He's got some printed windows you can use, especially if you want to do vintage things. And, oh, I see Nan Sherman is here. She always has good ideas. And let's put the trim on. I'm going to have to get trusty assistant to help me with something. Probably lots of things today. Ben, would you get that file? It's got pictures of the house, of the town hall. So if I want to make a point about the design, I can, it's in that file right in front. Yes, that one. Yes. If you can just pull out the two pictures of the Rathaus. Okay, there we go. See, I just think this is fun detail. Okay, and here are the pictures. So you can see how I've simplified it, but tried to maintain the same kind of shape. And there's the chicken on top, and you can see it almost looks like a patinaed copper or something, kind of a blue, gray, green. And so I'm going to paint the roof when I get to it, kind of a slate color. And I included shingles, well, rather, when the pattern is uploaded, it does have shingles, so you can do shingles if you want. And like I said, I'll add the little cupola. All right, let's go to pieces now, and we'll probably decorate some because I like to glue the decorations on before I assemble the house. So let me find a bunch of pieces, bunch of windows. Sorry, I gotta search for a while. Let me put all my mess here. I'll try not to be boring about it, so I'll try to be more efficient. I got all sorts of trim. This trim goes on the side to look like the stone, sort of what are called quoins, the stone intersections on the side. I see I made it a little long. And then these is this trim. So we can add some trim on each one. And these windows, I did simpler windows. You can see on the side, this is a stepped side. And so I just did kind of plain windows for the sides. And here is the part you'll glue on to make those sides. So I just put simple windows for that one. And more trim. More windows. That's probably enough. I try to do duplicates. Okay, so first, this piece. Let's do this piece. This is the tower. It's really the most prominent feature of the building. So, and I made little windows for it. So I'm going to glue these on. And I made them exactly the same size as the cutout. I usually change it a little, but there were so many windows I didn't go through. Usually I make the inside portion of my windows just ever so slightly smaller than the cutout window, but I figured, maybe this will help me line it up better to look at it head on. So these are and I didn't put nearly as many windows, partly because I want to paint it and show some stone. The pattern also has a little stone stencil you can make if you want to do this side piece as a stencil and stencil it on so it has, even more dimension. You can do that. I really need to learn to be one of those tweezer people. They'll go on these videos and they just lay down the piece perfectly in place with their tweezers. Yeah, that's not me, or at least not yet. I've learned some things. One person said that when I used to glue stuff and when I first started doing videos, said it was really funny. But I think I'm better at it now. But for me, I just think it's so much easier to paint first, glue the windows on, then assemble. My friend Howard doesn't do that. Oh, I see Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Cheryl and Vanessa. Lots of people. There's no late. This is our fun time. I do it in the day just because it's more convenient for me. I don't know if it is for y'all, but there's always a replay. Okay, I'm going to let that go. Let's see. Where are my doors? I'm not sure I did the doors right. Should be one light colored door, which I do not see. That's probably one of the things I dropped. But it's a trim, so anyway, I do want the door to go behind. I think I'm just going to glue this door behind. So I'm just going to add some glue just around the edge. And in the pattern there are some overlays, wait, I'll show you just a second because I've got one of them. Okay. So you can add a different color frame around the door if you want. And like I said, I painted one lighter, kind of a light brown, but it migrated. Okay. Oh, Sonia says she's good at tweezers. It looks so precise. And I'm like, oh, I really need to learn to do that. Okay, let's just do another simple one. These windows real quick. And I'm only going to do one of these because for time. And the other thing is sometimes they're hard to stick down, and I always say this, but I don't do it on video in particular, is if you leave it alone for a minute, let's apply glue. If you leave it alone, let's see which is the best side, it will adhere so much better. Just let it get just a little tacky. Let's just check it out. How many windows? There's 7 windows on this side. And this cutout, these cutouts match these cutouts. I actually did enlarge them a little bit. You can see they're just slightly larger. Trying to make it easy for you. Of course, then I put it in the glue. Let's see, get some more. Delphine says it's a good time for her. I think she's in South Africa. I don't know what the time difference is with South Africa. I know the time difference with Europe, it wasn't bad going out, but coming back was seriously painful. Okay, this was the first one I applied, so it should be the tackiest. Trying to make sure all the kitty hairs go away. And these are not real precise. I made these windows just to look a little rustic because they're stone. There's like stone framing around the windows. Yeah, that works better. These are sticking down better. There. Okay, this is our step siding, and I have a piece to go up here as well. That's in the pattern, you know, which you will get. Oh, Delvine says it's 8:20. That's not that different. Seems like that's like, oh, 6 hours. 6 hours. Okay, so like I said, I tried to mimic the windows. So let's see, these are pretty easy windows. But I wanted the door to be different. So let's get these down. Now I think I'm going to wait on the trim because I want to line it up with the front extension. So I'm going to wait on the trim. Yeah, Vanessa, I know. I hear that sometimes. I cannot draw. I used to be able to draw like really well, very precisely, but I can't seem to do it. And I don't know if it's because I haven't practiced lately or if it's because my hand just isn't quite as steady as it was. Drawing on the computer is a whole different thing. It's a matter of basically putting shapes together, or at least for me. Now, I don't do Procreate like my friend Jen Swift. That would be a different thing. I mean, I do want to do Procreate, but it's not the main way I do my designs because mine are mostly architectural. So they're, you know, I'm generally dealing with squares and rectangles and sometimes arches. Okay, let's get these down, these top ones. And I wanted each layer because I noticed in Europe that often each story of the building had a different, the windows were designed different, they were shaped different, and I really liked the way it looked. So I wanted to be sure and do that, even though I simplified all the, the designs. Instead of having like 6 windows here, it's really just one set. It's like, it is 6 on each one, but they had more. So I had to figure out how to make them different, but still be somewhat true to the building. Okay, so here I'm going to put this frame down, and then I'll layer over it the misplaced frame because I wanted it to be. I noticed on the building, I'll try to show you. It has some depth, so it looks like the door is very inset. Let me get my photo again. Okay, this is the door, and you can see it's almost like a frame within a frame, and the door is down deep. Okay, we're not going to do the sides. Remember, the side is glued on with this stepped. And what else do we have to do before we can put it together? Let's make the tower itself. Let's glue it together. Now, in order to get things to fit, I did a little extension here that fits in the front of the building, that fits in this square, this rectangle. And I think that makes a big difference and definitely makes it sturdier. Okay, so let's glue this together and try to keep it square. I did not make an insert for this piece because I think it's pretty easy to keep it square, partly because of this piece. This is sort of the stabilizer. And I have to find my tape. You know I'm lost without tape, painter's tape. Okay, now let's look and make sure we've got, try to make sure we've got 90-degree angles. Yeah, I do need to use tweezers, but I do windows so often. I just don't usually bother. Okay. Now see, it's shifted a little. Try to keep it square. Let's do the bottom. See how it looks. I think that looks good. And another little piece of tape for this one. There we go. And then these pieces, this forms the roof. Now where is my clock? So the clock goes here and this goes behind it. And you can actually lower the clock a little bit because you may want to put the chicken on top the way it is in the photo. See, the chicken is facing front. I kind of designed it so the chicken can go to the side, but you decide which one works best for you, which way you want the chicken to go. But if you want the chicken to go on top, then I would lower the clock. The clock is kind of designed to end here. But if you do that, then the chicken will be low. So you can move the clock down a little bit, and then the chicken will be at the top. Just have to decide about your chicken. And it cut out, not perfectly, but it cut out well. And let me show you. Let me see. I've got a couple of chickens. Okay. This is the back side. So the side the fine point blade was on is a little rough. See, it's a little rough, but the back side looks really good. And let me see. I think this one has looser. These little wings, they can kind of come up a little bit too. If you want your wing, oh, I'm in the wrong place. I'm sorry. So like I said, the back side looks good. The other side's a little rough, but I thought for that tiny detail, it was really pretty impressive that it did as well as it did. I have a cat who loves chicken. He just Ben cooks on Saturday nights, and when he does that and he brings chicken over, Luca's like begging for chicken. Lukey's my favorite. Call him Luca de Puca. Okay, I'm going to try to make it so I can choose where I want my chicken to go. On top, in the front. I think it's more obvious on the front, a little more prominent, but And this will have a over roof on it. So you'll see when we put it together. Okay. There's our clock tower. Yeah, I don't know. My friend Howard told me about, he uses a nail file. He actually, sands stuff so that it's very smooth. But the chicken is so small. I don't know. I could try it. That's a good idea. I'm using my fat tacky glue, quick dry here. It's almost out. I had to go buy some, but I haven't opened it up yet. I really try to use up the glue before I move on to a new bottle. Okay, smooth this out. Smooth this one out. Wipe off my finger. You kind of know the drill. To line it up, paying particular attention to the bottom, so the bottom is straight. And I don't know if you can see, but I need to ooch it down just a tiny bit. There. Okay, little piece of painter's tape. And because it's hard to apply pressure here, I'm going to apply a little piece of painter's tape here as well. And oh, I've neglected to mention, for this, I'm using 140-pound watercolor paper. Because I figured I could make it pretty quickly and paint it. And even still, I was drying it in the oven right before we started. And my plan is to paint some stones on it. Because once it's like this, it's hard to do texture paste. So, okay, more glue. And another thing I did different from usual, because I wanted the roof to be well supported, I made these sides larger so that it'll be supported in the middle. I didn't want it to sink down, so that's why I raised these two sides, which I don't usually worry about, but I wanted it to be good. Oh, my sister is here. I think my sister is off work today. Usually she works, and this is her lunchtime, but I still think she works during her lunchtime, so we don't usually get to see my sister. She's a quilter. She's a great quilter. Quilts are beautiful. Okay. I'll see, I messed around and this one moved. Let's do this. I can apply a little better pressure. Okay. I'm gluing down the, I call these roof tabs. Whatever I glue down, I call a tab usually, like on a structural piece. Those are the tabs. And these are the roof flaps. And that keeps these equidistant. So instead of like it squishing in, so the roof flaps maintain the shape, give you good structure, and the roof tabs are glued down. Okay, let's see how we're doing. And I did make an insert for the bottom. So I think, let me see, and it's designed so that it won't show through the window or the door, although the door is supposed to be solid. I'm not going to glue it in quite yet because I want the tower on first. I'm not sure. You know, as many times as I've made prototypes, I hadn't. Let's just tape it in for a minute. So we've got a nice square structure. Or rather, it's a rectangle, obviously, but the angles are square. They're 90 degrees. Okay, let's glue in our front. It's starting to look good, isn't it? Let's see. So it fits in nicely. Wait. Yeah. Yes, I like that. It does fit right. Okay, so I'm going to take off the support tape. Barbara Rogers is here. Hello, Barbara Rogers. Happy to see you. I know people still have to work. I was so happy when I retired. My job was so hard. It was so stressful. So it was a real relief to get to retire. And use the stronger glue. Oh, Walter's here. Hello, Walter. We always like it when the guys are here. Or more guys. I guess that's kind of sexist, huh? Any case, we like seeing y'all. Everybody. Okay. Slide it in. That down again. Make sure it's straight and to the top. I'm trying to make sure all my windows show. So that window looks good. I don't know how to do tape. I mean, I can do tape at the bottom. Add a little piece of tape at the bottom. Actually, I'm going to change something. So wait just a second. I'm going to my camera. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There. Maybe that will help a little bit. I realize I'm not staying in screen the whole time. Okay. There we go. Oh, hey, Barb. I'm glad you like the lives. Okay. There is a hole on the back of the tower just in case you know, if you light up your little house, so at least some light will go into it. But it's not a big hole, and I did that because I really wanted it. It becomes more flexible if you cut out much of the back, so it's easier to keep it this way. Okay, so let's see what else we need to do. Okay, so these are the trim for the side, if you like that. You don't have to use it. And like I said, there's a stencil if you want to make these and have them as a stencil. So you'd stencil before you assemble the whole thing. Or I'm probably just going to paint stones. That's what I want to do. Because you can see how they did. The stones are covered with plaster some, and I really like that effect. I think that's interesting. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of do isolated stones. And in one of the stencils, I put just a few stones together. So if you want to do some isolated stones, you can do that too. You can stencil them on. But I would stencil before assembly. All right, next. Now, I'm not ready because I didn't have time to paint this. But this is the roof piece. And you center it. And there is, I actually made it just a tiny bit narrower. There is a little space around it, but if you add shingles to it, it will, you can cover up that space a little bit. And so that's that. Let's see. This is the side piece, the step siding, which I would glue on. You can glue it on before or after the roof piece. So that adds that interest. And remember, there is trim to make this better. And then finally, this is the roof of the tower. That's kind of the under roof, and this is the roof. And it fits nicely too. And that's where you can make your decision where you want your chicken to go. If you want your chicken on top. And I kind of extended his legs a little bit. I'm sorry, so you can separate it. I don't know if you can see that. You can separate them a little bit and glue them on top. And glue them on top. So I glued 2 chickens together. So that way the chicken is well positioned. And you can do the same thing. I need a darker color. My fingers are. So you can do the same thing here so that the chicken stands up. But I really like the idea of gluing 2 together. So your chicken is stronger. Okay, so that is the pattern. Now what we're waiting on is the cupola. That's the only thing I have to design. And then, so when I write up the tutorial, I will probably do shingles. There's a whole page of shingles that you can use, and you probably have to do 2 pages of shingles to complete all this, and the little roof for the front tower. And I always mention this too. Whenever you are doing something with a dormer or an attachment to the roof, the angled side goes against the angled side of the roof. So otherwise, obviously, it wouldn't fit. So yes, we do have to color the chicken. I'm going to do kind of a steely gray. So anyway, I meant to have it all done. I've been working, but I must admit I did watch some TV and stuff like that. Tonight I have to get a project done for an event in October. And then I can finish this one up, and then it's time for, oh, what is it time for? Spooktacular. I have to work pretty hard on Spooktacular. I'm going to still try to come up with some different things. So let me see what the date of next week is. Next Monday will be the 9th. Oh, wait. July 7th. Okay. So I don't know. I'll try to figure out some summertime thing for y'all. Okay, let me switch cameras for you and move this away. Switch. Get this away. Switch. Oh, I don't know why it's doing both. There. Shoo. That was kind of scary. All right. That is the clock tower. And I will put the pattern in as soon as I can. And let me see if there's something else. Vanessa, no worries. Yeah, you can see it was a lot of details, and trying to fit this in and, making sure all the little pieces intersect properly. The illustration program is an illustration program. It's not a CAD. It doesn't figure out angles for you. You have to do that on your own. So it's kind of challenging. Okay. Yeah. Oh, give the chicken some eyes. Amy's worried about the chicken. We'll get the chicken fixed. We'll get the chicken, looking good, I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Well, thank you for being with me. And I hope y'all do well today and have something fun to do. And if you're in a hot place, you don't get too hot. And if you're in a cold place, you don't get too cold. So, just take care of yourselves. Yeah, I can't wait for the Spooktacular. I've got really fun stuff for you. I showed you like real brief, um, very brief previews. I don't have any additional previews, so okay. Alrighty. Well, y'all take care and have fun today. Alrighty. Bye, y'all.